Hi, Brian McCorder here with Live Lean Thinking. Welcome to my series on value stream mapping. Value stream mapping is a very powerful tool, and it is a much easier to use tool than many people think. One of the problems that I've seen with people when they try to use this is they get really bogged down early on with trying to get too much of a detail level. That's not the purpose of the value stream map. You can dig down where you see opportunity and get more detail, but we want the map to really show us where we need to dig deeper. And more often than not, when we first do a value stream map, that 30,000 foot view is going to show us a great deal of opportunity where there are issues we can go after for driving improvement. Hey, first of all, what is a value stream map? A value stream map is really just a flow chart. That's all it is. But it is a very expansive flow chart. It captures a lot of information. Really, for the amount of effort you give one, you get to see an awful lot. Everything in business comes down to really three things: activities, connections, and flow. Flow being, does it move or does it not move? Are there bottlenecks? Does information, supplies, and products come to a point and stop? We want to build flow into our value stream. A value stream is just all the activities that happen between you getting an order and the product or service happening for the customer and you getting paid. All the activities that happen in that are really is your value stream. We want to capture every activity and decide whether or not that activity is value added or non-value added. We want to really build lots of value and minimize or eliminate those non-value added activities. Again, this is what a value stream map will capture. In business, we may deal with bad systems and then we blame people for failure. You have two things really that go on in most business activities, and that's people and processes. For every activity we identify, we want a process that dictates how to accomplish that activity. If you buy a franchise, for say a McDonald's or a Pizza Hut or something, they give you the guidelines and the instructions on how to do every activity. So you've got a process in place. How to make that pizza, the recipe, the temperature of the ovens, the equipment to use. And what that does is it eliminates variation. Well, we want to do the same thing for our businesses. For every activity, is there a structure in place? Is there a process? Have we even identified all the activities? For the different activities that need to happen as part of a system, how are they connected? Are they connected in a way that makes the most sense? Is our layout optimal for eliminating wasted transportation and motion? Again, those would be possibly non-value added activities. Can we minimize those? Okay, for a value stream map, what we want to do is get that high level view, that 30,000 foot view of our value stream, and we'll determine, when I get into actually drawing the map, I'll give you some guidelines on determining the beginning point and the end point. Really, it's totally up to you. So you'll decide that and what part of your current condition we want to look at. In dealing with a business where we want to drive positive change, a value stream map is an excellent tool for seeing the current condition and helping to build that dynamic tension. For change to take place, we need really three things. We need to understand the current condition, the desired condition, and the game plan to get from A to B. If those are in place, then people can get to work with confidence knowing they're going to achieve their goals. The value stream map is great for showing that current condition. How are we today? What's going on? What are our issues that we need to deal with? And we'll use that value stream map to help identify that desired future state, and that builds that dynamic tension. In our personal life, we'll say that if we need to lose weight, we want to lose 50 pounds. Our current condition would be how much we weigh today, putting our goal in place of how can we incrementally lose weight to get to that desired condition, and that creates that tension. I'm a marathon runner, and let's say I've got a 26.2 marathon that I need to prepare for in a few months, and today all I'm good for is running 5 miles. 5 miles is my current condition. I need to build up to be able to run 26.2 miles. That between the two, here's the goal, 26.2 miles. Here's where I'm at today, 5 miles. That in between is the dynamic tension. Imagine a rubber band here. Now, I can release tension by doing one of two things. I can lower the goal. Let's do a half marathon, only 12 miles, or 13 miles, excuse me. Or what would be better, start training and get to the point where I can run the 26.2 miles. That's what we're going to use the value stream map to do. We want to show everybody what our current condition is and why change is needed. We want to have a clear picture of that future state and why it's desirable versus where we're at today. Again, a value stream map is an excellent tool for showing this. If you've ever heard of a burning platform issue, those are issues or problems that threaten the very life of the company or the business. Maybe new technology or changes in market really threaten the business. The concept came up from oil rig fires out on the ocean. There was an oil rig fire, and in some of the books I've written I give all the details on this, but basically a gentleman survived one of those where he was asleep, he heard the alarm, climbed out on the oil rig, and there's nothing but smoke and heat, and he crawled to the end of the platform, which was several hundred feet above the ocean surface, which he couldn't even see because of smoke. So he could have been jumping into an oil fire, but he jumped, and he was actually rescued by a ship, and they asked him how he got the courage to jump off that platform. And he said, basically, I knew that it was either fry or jump. If he stayed, he was going to die, so the greater choice was to jump. In our business, we need to know those problems that really could threaten our business, and we need to know when to jump. But even more important, we've got to know what we're jumping to. We've got to see that desired state. I've actually prepared some notes here, which I rarely do if you've watched any of my other videos. But for value stream mapping, I want to make sure to cover all the benefits and do this tool justice. It's a tool that I've worked with a great number of times. I've done over 100 value stream maps, but I want to make sure again that I do a good job with this. Mention that as we look through our value stream, again, the value stream are all the activities that happen between you getting the order and the customer getting their product and you getting paid. We want to capture every activity, then decide is it value added or non-value added. And for those non-value added, we want to minimize or eliminate them if we can. So even just recognizing them, we can start working towards that. We want to build value into the value added activities. For an activity to be value added, it has to meet 3 criteria. It's got to be viewed as value added by the customer. It's got to change the form, or the activity's got to change the form or function of the product in some way, and it's got to be done right the first time. So if it meets those 3 criteria, it is value added. We do want to look at our entire value stream. We want to see our biggest problems and we want to categorize them. We want the most bang for our buck. So in a way, our value stream map will help create our blueprint for driving change. Okay, where do we need to give the most attention? This will help eliminate something called cherry picking. Cherry picking is where we pick something to go after and drive an improvement and create maybe islands of excellence. We've got one area or department that is just fantastic, but it creates issues downstream because, again, we didn't look at the whole value stream. We need to look at how activities are connected and make sure that what we're doing helps everything and not cause a ripple effect, a problem down. One of the last value stream maps I did was as part of a project to improve product delivery. We looked at everything that happens for delivering product overseas and domestically, and when we started looking at their value stream map, we had several aha moments where we saw a lot of things that were, almost comically troublesome. We saw that there were activities that hadn't been changed in over 16 years. 16 years. We found several disconnects to where, again, there was lack of flow. Product that needed to get to the customer would get to certain points and just stop for maybe days, unnecessarily, because there weren't the proper triggers to keep them moving through that value stream and getting to the customer. So we want to capture all that. We need to gain momentum. Again, that's that flow. What we want is momentum with our information, our product, our supplies. We don't want bottlenecks. We don't want something stopping unless it serves a purpose to stop, and we did it, which, again, typically you want everything moving on. What we're going to use our value stream map for later is to create that future state and identify the bridge, the things that we need to do between the current state and the future state to bridge that gap. For a project to be addressed successfully, for everything we identify that's a problem, what we need to do is really capture 4 things. If I were to go up to someone in a factory or a business and ask them about a problem and a solution, if they could answer 4 questions for me, I could walk away with pretty good certainty that that problem is going to be taken care of. Those 4 questions are: what is the problem, as we understand it? Hopefully they've got the root cause. What's the solution we're going to implement? Who's going to do it? And when's it going to be done? When those 4 questions can be answered, then I can walk away with confidence. I know of problems that had really plagued departments and areas for years because it was never really tackled in terms of that simplicity, that direct of an approach. The problem is, and this is what happens when problems have been around for a long time, they become normalized. And I've talked about this in other videos where, again, we'll have a problem become kind of a catastrophic problem where it puts down equipment or causes a problem for a customer, and we get to talking people at the lower levels of the business and they go, oh yeah, that problem's been around for years. Yeah, that piece of equipment's always been temperamental. Yeah, this has been an issue for a long time. It becomes normalized. So it's not even a problem, Lim, it's just the way it is. It again, is that bad system. Good people cannot override a bad system. Okay, in the next video, we'll actually start doing a value stream map, and I'll show you how easy these can go together. One of the problems with value stream maps is they become too complicated up front rather than just getting that 30,000 foot view and then drilling down deeper where you see the opportunity. The value stream map itself at that 30,000 foot view will show you where you need to drill down deeper and get a little bit more detail. So in the next video, we'll start doing a value stream map.